Justine Constable is my driver's license. My student number is AIPC 011042. This is for practical 3A, for both role play 1 and role play 2. First one will be with Michelle. Okay. Hi Michelle, how are you going?
I'm good, thanks, Justine. Yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. So, what's been happening since last I saw you last week with regards to your homework and what you've been working on?
Oh, well, I've decided to continue with my studies.
You have, fantastic.
Yeah. But I really need to figure out a better way to go about it.
So what do you mean a better way of going about what your study?
Yeah.
So what, can you expand on it a bit more, like in terms of its time or?
In the past, I've tended to leave most of the study until the last week before the exams, and I get no sleep and I get anxious and irritable. I'm not at my best at work.
No.
So okay. I need to find a way to better manage my study.
Okay. So would you say that's also about trying to manage your time more effectively so you can put all those things in, like?
As I've got the kids to look after, I've got the household to run, and I work full time. I guess sometimes I feel guilty about being a bad mother, thinking, how am I going to do the study when I'm putting the kids' things off? But I find I'm doing the kids' things because I can get them done, and I tend to be putting the study off, I think.
Okay.
So I need to find a way to better mix everything together.
So it's about, would you say then, Michelle, it's about trying to manage your time more effectively?
That's it, yeah.
And you also mentioned before about feeling a bit stressed and guilty as well?
Yeah, I do. I sometimes feel I'm a bad mother because I'm putting in my mind, I'm trying to put myself first instead of the kids.
Okay, so
that worries me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I get anxious about the study. I think I'm going to fail.
But you're on your second last unit, aren't you, Michelle?
I think so. Yeah.
So you're nearly there, which is great. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing all that with me. So, in terms of what you'd like to work on today, you've mentioned about your managing your time more effectively, and maybe would you say that the thing that you want to talk about or kind of concentrate more on today is how to manage your stress as well? Have I got that right or no?
Yes, I need to manage my stress, especially leading up to the exams.
Okay.
But that might be managed better if I have a better study plan.
Okay, so thank you. So your study plan as well. So, all right. Okay, so we can talk about that today for sure. All right then. So, in terms of, you've said before that you're balancing your work, the kids, and just your work, and work within the house as well. So, do you mind if I ask, when do you actually study at the minute? Is there a set time or days that you do it in, or just depends on the situation? When the kids are in bed?
Yeah, which is about 8:30.
Okay.
So I do some study then before I go to bed.
Okay, and how is that working for you?
Well, I tend to want to plan out to start that way, but it never seems to finish up. By the time I finish doing dinner and doing the kids or helping the kids' homework and getting them settled in bed, some nights I'm too tired. So in the past, a lot of it's been left until just before the exams when I stay up all night study.
Right. Yep.
So I need to better manage things.
Okay.
But if I don't, it doesn't all come at the end.
Sure. So you've tried studying after you've put everyone else, the kids in bed, but it sounds like that hasn't really been working for you, that time frame or that time of the day?
No. Well, yes and no. I mean, I've passed all my exams, but I know it's not good for me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just tired.
You're just tired. Sounds like it. Yeah. Okay. So what else do you think that you might be able to do in terms of so you're running, how old are your children? They're teenagers, aren't they?
Yeah, 16 and 17.
Okay. And you said that you're running around after them, you know, like doing things with the children as well.
Yeah, we got, sometimes it's after school functions to get to, or they got homework that sometimes they need help with, so I do all that.
Sure, sure.
Get them dinner ready. You know, we get up in the morning. There's breakfast.
And your husband, does he work
Yeah,
close or?
he leaves after breakfast with the rest of us, but he doesn't get home till real late at night. He works long hours.
Okay, all right. So just so I can clarify that basically you're doing a lot of that work with the children when they come home, and your husband's there after they go to bed. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right. Okay. And I thought you mentioned before that that you've got you feel like you haven't got enough time to do things as well within the house. Is that correct?
I just worry that I'm not being a good mother, and I get anxious that I'm going to fail my exams.
Okay.
And that
Sure.
makes me then worry about being a good mother again, because I'm putting the exams on myself first.
Sure. Okay. So you sounds like you're really feeling guilty about putting. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you for that. All right. So what did you want to specifically work on today, then, Michelle?
Finding a way to better manage my time.
Okay. All right. Then. So you've mentioned about doing your study more at night when the children are in bed, and you've mentioned that's probably not working out effectively. What do you think you could do then, if that's not by the time everything else happens in your life and putting your children to bed, etc.? What else do you think? Is there any other way that you might be able to review or look at when you're doing your study? If you're saying, if it's not, to me, from what you've said, it doesn't sound like it's really working for you. Is there anything else, and anything else you might want to do or look at with your study times? Do you think could that be helpful?
Suppose I could talk to them if they'd mind if I had an hour or so before they went to bed studying.
Okay.
Have me time for an hour or so, do a bit then.
Oh, okay. So actually, just have a bit of a break. Is that what you're saying?
Well, a break to study.
Right. Okay. All right. And you and
I could talk to everyone then.
sure. Okay. So talk to everyone. Is that just the children or with your husband as well?
No, I'll talk with Jake as well. Yeah.
Okay. And you'd be talking to them, your husband and your children, about what, changing your study times, or what are you thinking?
Perhaps just having an hour or so just for me to study before it gets too late at night.
Okay. So talking to them about what, them doing other things so while you can just concentrate on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when do you think would be a good time to talk to your family about maybe having that specific time where you can just have that hour of study time? Is there a better time of the day or the night to do that so everyone's together? Pardon?
Breakfast.
Breakfast time. So is that when everyone's together, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. All right. Sorry there, Michelle, I've got a bit of a breakdown in the recording here. All right then. So what types of things do you think you might talk to your family about? Like, is there anything in particular that you would say to them for in that when you're having that conversation with them at the breakfast time? You're just wanting to have that hour study, or anything in particular? Or anything else you want to discuss with them about maybe helping to balance what you're doing during the day?
Perhaps for this bit of time, if the kids could do the washing up and that sort of thing, then I can sit down and do some study, and then, I won't have to go so late into the night.
Sure. So maybe, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And what about with your husband? But anything in particular apart from just talking about the chores with the children, or?
He might hopefully just support me, and it's only for a few weeks.
Sure.
Support me with this with the kids.
Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So that sounds like a really good approach. So when do you think you might be wanting, or have an idea in your head about when you might want to have a talk to the family at breakfast time? Within the next couple of days, or when were you thinking?
I'll try and do it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, great. And as I said, you've mentioned that you've got your exam coming up. When's that? Is that next week?
No, the exams aren't for a few weeks. The semester starts again next week, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm studying next week.
Sure. And so it sounds like you want to have this conversation sooner rather than later, so you can get all that in place before the next semester starts. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. No. And okay, that sounds like a really good approach there, Michelle. With regards to, I'm just conscious of the time now. We haven't got that much time left. So you're saying that, just wanted to kind of recap what we've chatted about so far. You're going to have a discussion with your family maybe tomorrow morning at breakfast time, and just to talk to them about, maybe with the children, maybe they can pick up some or do some extra chores so that you don't have quite as much to do. And you're just going to have a conversation with your husband about maybe just being supportive. In what way do you think you'd like to maybe have a discussion with your husband about how it could be more supportive?
I just went on, we're talking to the kids about how, he could reinforce that, hey, it's only for a bit of time. If you just do this, then mum can get through it easier.
Sure. Okay. Right. That sounds really good. Well, Michelle, we're just about at the end of our discussion now for today for this session. So I look forward to hearing about what your discussion, how it went with your family tomorrow. So we catch up again next Tuesday at the usual time of 10 o'clock. Is that still good for you?
That's fine. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll see you then.
Righto.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. In terms of what happened with the notes, so obviously for the counselling notes, I obviously had Michelle's name. It was the second session. I have the date as well. The goals, well, for Michelle are to be more, I suppose, more effective with her time management, and also to help manage her stress more effectively, especially when she's studying. In terms of the topics discussed and the outcomes, is trying to look at a more effective work-life balance, as well as with the study. Spoke a bit about her guilt of not being the perfect mother, but also didn't want to make sure that she was actually going to fail her exams as well. In terms of interventions or strategies, she decided that it would be useful for her to actually have a discussion with her family members at breakfast time, because that's usually the best time when they're all together. And in that discussion, she was going to be talking about perhaps asking her children to explain the situation to both her children and her husband, that she's only got a couple more weeks to go, and she'd really appreciate if perhaps they could just do a few more chores to help her out, so she's not quite so busy. And also, I suppose, just to have that emotional support from her husband to reinforce to the children that it's only going to be a few more weeks and then her studies will be done. In terms of what went well, I think the initial discussion went well with Michelle about how she was feeling with regards to her study and her, that balance between being a mother, working full time and studying as well. What didn't work, I still don't think I'm exploring enough about the guilt she feels as being, not being there for her children all the time, but then also feeling as if she's failing, I suppose, even though she hasn't failed as yet with her studies. She seems to put a lot of pressure on herself in terms of being a mother and also being a student as well. What could have been done differently, I suppose that goes back to, or continuing on with, I could have explored more with the feelings of guilt that Michelle was feeling as both a mother and as a student. But I was just very conscious of the time too, of the time factor. Areas that needed to be developed. I think, once again, I still think that challenging and that reframing still could be is an area that I need to be more focused on as well. I think I did challenge to a certain degree, but I think I need to perhaps, even though I have spent some time thinking that I was going to be able to challenge and reframe, I think I still need to do that more effectively. That might involve perhaps listening and viewing more videos specifically about the techniques of reframing and challenging as well, to help inform my practice a bit more. And how I could go on to develop these. It was once again by just, I suppose, listening and also participating in perhaps some practice questioning of with reframing and challenging questions as well. With regards to the what I feel would be the most appropriate personality or developmental theory for Michelle, I think an appropriate one would be the Erikson's theory, because it's looking at the theory. I suppose has two main focuses within the adolescent period and also in the midlife span area as well. It's To me, it's a theory about looking at where the person is currently within that particular life cycle, and to see whether or not they're actually adapting to any of the normative crises which might actually happen within that time or within that lifespan. I think I believe that Michelle is in that generativity or stagnation life stage, and I think by using this type of Erikson theory, it could help Michelle to develop some skills and gain some more confidence in her own strengths, so that she can be more efficient with her time and get some more time management skills and abilities in process, and also I suppose enhancing or building upon her own confidence within her abilities, whether it be a mum, or as a student, or also just in her wider areas of her life as well. So thank you. That's the first prac done.